Ella Henry here once again. I just want to say thank you so very much to Apostle Dr. Ademola Adesina, PhD, General Overseer, Monarch Bible City of Wonders. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do a recap on the message that you have just preached to the Monarch Company of Prophets on how to induce a trance. And then he has taken his text from the book of Genesis chapter 28 from verse 10 down to 15 or thereabout. And then we saw Jacob. Jacob was worried. He was troubled. He wanted to hear from God. He was living in a place called Beersheba. It wasn't a bad place. It was a good place. So I could call it a comfort zone for him. But time came when he really needed to leave. And he got up and he left. He was walking, found himself towards Haran. He stopped at a place where he slept. He picked up a stone from that land, put on his head. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that was? Because somebody else was sleeping in their vulnerable bed. But Jacob was sleeping in the forest on a stone. But guess what? If you begin to read that part, when you get to verse 12, you realize that he began to have a dream. And inside his dream, he saw a ladder was put on the earth. And this ladder, the top of it, went to the heaven. And he saw angels ascending and descending. And at the very top of it was the Lord. And he began to speak. And he said, I am the Lord thy God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and you. So he began to tell Jacob that the land where you are, I am giving to you and your descendants. He made a lot of promises to Jacob. He even added that I am not going to leave you until I have accomplished everything that I have promised. In verse 13, when Jacob woke up, he was like, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Obviously, the Lord dwells here. This is a place of the Lord, and I didn't even know about this. He was very excited. So, in verse 17, I think he called it heavenly gate, the gate of heaven. And then you see that from verse 18 down, he was very excited. He picked up the stone of that place. He set it up, poured oil on it, prayed, and then he made a vow. He set up a pillar and then poured oil on it and made a vow of allegiance to the Lord for all the promises. So he also promised his 10th offering. This is just to acknowledge God's providential beneficence. So you realize that when Jacob made a move, he encountered God. He came down, he showed himself, and then he confirmed that Abrahamic covenant with him, with Jacob, in all of its three elements, which is the land, the seed, and the blessings. And this dream is just to encourage a lonely traveler. You see, a most timely, comforting, and assuring promise. So when you get up and begin to move, just know that God is in it. The motion you create will set up a divine ladder for you today. We have learned today that prosperity is not in places, it is in persons. So when Jacob was in his house, lose was not anything. But when Jacob went to the land of Luz, slept on a stone, and tarried all night, the Lord appeared and blessed the land for the sake of Jacob. Prosperity is not in places, it is in person. So we're talking about how to induce a trance. How do you induce a revelation? How do you induce a dream? The very first thing we looked at is perception is a trigger to conception. So I just said that perception is a trigger to conception, is a catalyst to conception. When a woman is ready to conceive, one of the things she does is begin to perceive her baby days. When a doctor wants to induce a pregnant woman, this is because time has passed. It's getting late. The baby is running late to come out. 9 months has passed and the baby is still in there. The doctor is worried and he wants to induce. Sometimes a doctor is going to induce when the baby is still 8 months, but water has broken. So the doctor is paying attention. Time and season is very important. Jacob perceived. For him to conceive, he was able to perceive. Everything is all wrong. We got it all wrong. What if my brother kills me? What if I die? What are you perceiving? For you to induce your trance, have you checked your atmosphere? Have you thought about the time? Are you doing something at the wrong time? What are you dealing with? Why is heaven closed out? Why has heaven shut out on you? Are you supposed to be dealing with generational curses? The book of Isaiah 59 verse 1 says that the hands of the Lord is not short to do for us what we ask. It's only sin that brings demarcation. In the book of Psalm 59 verse 1, you see where David was crying, have mercy on me, O God, according to your great compassion. He said, in sin did my mother conceive me. At that time, he knew that he needed to make up with the Lord, which is one of the ways to induce your trance. Are you needing to make it right with the Lord? So another thing you think of is you must be a sojourner for you to induce a trance. Remember that Jacob got up and moved from Bathsheba. He found himself in another land. So for you to induce your trance, your dream, your revelation, you must be a sojourner. You must be a traveler. Jacob moved. You must get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you realize that when you lock yourself up in the house and you keep sitting there thinking, manna is gonna fall, might not fall, and your destiny helpers might not come knocking on the door, you must be a traveler. And despite the fact that you're a traveler, you must be able to locate your place. Jacob located his place. So the next point I'm trying to make is that for you to be able to induce your trance, you have to remember that you have been redeemed to reign, not to roam about. Jacob was not roaming about. Jacob moved, found himself on a spot, and then he tarried there. And the Bible said that the sun was set. So we're redeemed to reign. You must be able to find your place, and you have to tarry there just like Jacob. For location determines allocation. You have to identify your place, identify your giftings, and you have to grow within the circumference of your calling. Is a requirement. You must have a time to induce the trance. Time and season, they are of essence. There's something about sunset. The Bible said that the sun was set. Jacob tarried all night. There's something about sunset and night. No wonder the Bible says that when men slept, that enemies sowed the seed. We have to pay attention to time and season. For you to induce your own dream, your revelation, your vision, you must pay attention. You must be out of your comfort zone. Jacob slept on a stone. And when that revelation comes, you have to write it. You don't just run to your family, to friends, and begin to tell them. You have to analyze it. Write it down. Meditate on it. And then raise an altar. Jacob raised an altar. He raised a pillar and poured oil. For you to raise an altar, you don't have to build a monument. You can get that through the word of your mouth. There is a right time for everything according to the book of Ecclesiastes. A time to speak and a time to be silent. A time to go to work and a time for report. When you are given a report, that's a time to go home. It's a crucial time. It's a sunset time. It's a critical time. Jacob waited until the moon was full and the sun was set. It's a time of trance. So in my final analysis, when heaven is silent on you, you have all it takes to induce the supernatural. Stay out of your comfort zone. The magnitude force of the stone on your head as you tarry pulls down heaven for your sake. For Jacob, a place of revelation became a place of promise. So, do you want God to be personal and real to you, sister? I want to assure you that how you handle your first trance determines how you're going to get the second chance. And I want to say something to somebody. Early this year, I had a dream, and in that dream, the Lord spoke to me and said, daughter, I want you to buy a book because you're going to be having a lot of dreams, and that will be me talking to you. I want you to write them down as they come. Do you know, I woke up and I was very excited. I thought about, okay, when I go to do grocery on Wednesday, I'll get it. Then Wednesday comes and I go do grocery. One thing I don't remember was to buy the book. And I did it severally till March. A lot of dreams flowing in January. In February, I couldn't remember them. I was still having them, but I couldn't remember. In March, the dreams were cut out. So when I finally got the book, I had to go talking to God, praying, asking for forgiveness, sanctification, and all the rest of them. Sometimes we're the pain of our own problems. A lot of times. Saul was so impatient. When they were waiting for Samuel to come and perform the sacrifice, they couldn't wait. We're talking about time. Time and season. And then he performed the sacrifice. It didn't come out good. It didn't go well. Elisha the other way around, he knew that there was a higher level of that which he already has attained. Now we're talking about another person who wanted double portion. And the double portion we get from the book of Acts 1 verse 8 is not for us to keep, but for us to move around. Be his witness. Preach the gospel. Around the entire world. Thank you for listening. God bless you.